Hi, everybody. Welcome to our final session of today's Solo Summit. It has been an incredible day of insights and strategies for growing our independent businesses. And before we wrap up day one, I am thrilled to introduce our closing keynote speaker, someone who is building the future of independent work. On a personal note, I will say that I'm so lucky to be working with Ron Harpaz for the second time in my career. Not only because he's a great boss and an incredibly visionary technical founder, but because he lives his values. Ron believes that the future is about independent work and is building this company with that belief at the center. I'm a fractional head of marketing at Lettuce, and today I run a 100% fractional team. Many people who work here use our products to run their business. We are ambitious about building something great for our customers because it's also great for our own businesses. As the founder and CEO of Lettuce Financial, Ron is on a mission to help solopreneurs keep more of what they earn through intelligent automation and strategic tax optimization. But what makes Ron's perspective particularly valuable for us today is his deep understanding of how emerging technologies can transform small businesses. So please join me for welcoming Lettuce's founder and CEO, Ron Harpaz.
Thank you, Gabrielle. Always a pleasure doing everything with you, and this specific summit is really a highlight of working with such a wonderful group of people for such a wonderful cause. Thanks everybody for participating. I know we have many hundreds of people tuning in and thousands of people who are following from afar. I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, so it's beautiful here, and it's always exciting to talk about technology to such a great audience. So the plan today is to talk about how AI and automation are redefining independent work. What I want to start with is that concept of independent work. I strongly believe, and I start almost every conversation I have with the statement of the future is independent. And I reflect back a few years ago, I was part of the Future of Work Council that was brought together by Box.com and Upwork and like a think tank of technology leaders. But what would work look like if we could imagine it being better for everybody? And we had a lot of ideas. That was pre-COVID. Everybody was still showing up to an office every day and doing the tech with them. And I think it would be hard to imagine how fast some of those ideas we had back then materialized in the last few years, especially after COVID here in the US. Well, basically it became almost standard for people to work from anywhere, anytime, on more than one project, very often for more than one company. And here are some numbers to just make sure that you all believe I'm not just making this up. So there are currently more than 64 million Americans, which is like more than 30% of the workforce, who do some kind of freelance. And when you actually go one level deeper, research shows that 25 million of them do freelance work full time. That's what they do. They work for themselves. And it covers many professions and many skill levels. But this part of the economy is now a major force. And when we say the future is independent, the future is now. We're not talking about a decade out there. We're talking about things that are happening around us. And, in terms of numbers, there is more than $1.25 trillion in the US economy that is being driven by this, freelancer, business of one, solo work. That's a meaningful contribution to our economy. And we want to enable it. We want to make sure that anybody doing anything that they love can do it independently. So when we talk with a lot of solos, business owners, it's very clear, and you've seen it throughout this conference, that they need a lot of tools to be great at what they do. They need to market their service and manage their finance and project manage and a lot of things that are required to run a great business. But we also constantly have to remember that these solos who run businesses are also employees of that business. They themselves need to be taken care of. Historically, they worked somewhere else there was an HR department who worried about paying their salary on time, making sure they had access to benefits, their well-being. All of that was managed by some organization, corporation, something like that. Now that they're solos, they are responsible for that as well, which for many is a great thing. They get to set the standard and they do it the way they want to do it, but it also can be quite challenging to do it well and to make sure that you get all the benefits and all the access to the personal needs that are typically taken care of for you when you work for a corporation. So part of how we think about making this work for a solo, for a business owner, for an independent worker, is that all of this has to come together. And our vision is to make sure that we at Lettuce bring this to you, bring this to the entire ecosystem in an integrated way that makes it very easy for you to leverage. And that means not just taking care of your taxes, not just taking care of your operations, running your invoices and your contracts, but also making sure that you have access to benefits, whether that's healthcare or insurance or wellness program. Make sure that you have access to financial advisory and retirement plans and the best insurance out there. Getting you covered as a business requires a system that takes care of you, the person, the employee of that business as well. And we really believe that those things are interconnected. And by coming together with technology solution and ecosystem access that solves for all of those, we are helping this independent future. So how do you do all of that, right? We said a bunch of big words that need to be delivered. And as a technologist, I always come back to, can we put together like an operating system, something that works for you, that is an all-in-one platform that you don't need to cobble together a bunch of solutions on your own. And as Gabrielle mentioned, is really important for us. We are building this as solos ourselves. A very large part of the team here at Lettuce are solos, people who prefer this lifestyle, prefer this career choice, do this because they want to be independent. And therefore, we want to make sure that when we bring something to market, we test it on our own selves first. As we like to say in Silicon Valley, eat our own dog food before we make it available to others. So Lettuce is really this all-in-one solo platform that takes care of all of these components that need to come together to make sure that it works. And let me talk about some specifics to make sure that we make it real, and I have a little bit more as we go along. So we start with the financial aspect. We start with making sure that money is coming in, you get paid. If you have suppliers or vendors, they get paid. And all of that is really accelerated these days by what's called embedded fintech. The fact that you don't have to worry about creating a bank account, connecting it to all of the third-party components, making sure that your invoices get sent to the right place and that collection happens against the invoice and that all the forms are getting filled. Like all of that technology is now embedded, seamless, wrapped in a platform for you. And that's the work we do all day long to make sure that you can just show up and enjoy it. And there's a lot there, right? All of you that have to date, cobbled together a solution for invoicing and connected it to a bank account, and sometimes it's your personal one and sometimes it's a business one, and the bank may not be as forward and savvy as you want them to, and some of your clients may not be ready for all of this technology and need some help, and like all of that is a lot of work. And the idea here is that you don't need to do this work. The reason there are technology solutions is that you can focus on what we love calling your zone of genius. If you're an executive coach, go coach. If you're a marketer, help somebody market their product. A product manager, a designer, a therapist. We have a pilot who's using our platform. You do you. You have something that you're great at. Do that every single available moment. Find another client. Serve them even better. Perfect your craft. Be amazing at what you do. Publish something. Write about it. Go to a conference. What you shouldn't do is worry about financials. Let us worry about your financials, about your income, your expenses, your forms, your government compliance, your tax payment, and whether or not it moved up by a bracket or moved down by a bracket, or how should I account for the 401k? Oh my God, all of that stuff. Really, let us worry about it. And we do this all day long. So we kind of do this pretty well, and this becomes our zone of genius, so it doesn't need to be yours. And I want to give a couple of examples of how this all comes together for you. So you've all read about all of the AI agents coming to your door, and everybody's tried ChatGPT and Claude and all of the other alternatives. And I'm pretty sure that by now, you've been hit by an AI agent one way or another, and you know they're out there. So, the simplistic way would be to tell you, hey, go figure it out, cobble together a bunch of AI agents, and each of them will do something for you, and you would be the conductor, the orchestrator of all of that thing. That's a way of doing it. But we actually believe that solos have enough to do. They don't want to manage a swarm of bots running around and coming back with half answers. They want to have a single AI that does it all for them. So our approach to this says we are putting together a solution, not 15 different pieces. This is not a Lego store that you should do after hours. That solution needs to understand your business, be insightful about your business, so it can really do anything that needs to be done to run your business effectively. So here's an example. The AI capability from Lattice that runs your business for you should be predictive. Typically, when you go to your accountant, your CPA, they look at last year and they tell you, hey, you know what? You could have done this and you should have done that. And yeah, let me mark this up. And, yeah, I can look in the review mirror and figure out what could have, should have happened last year. But how is that helping me now? We want to be predictive. We want to tell you what can happen going forward. Here is the income we believe you're going to get for the rest of the year. Here is a forecast of how much you're going to pay in taxes. Here is a way to withhold the right amount of tax, given your seasonality, in a predictive manner, so that you don't have to worry about the slowdown in the summer or whatever is coming your way. The system should predict what's going to happen in the near future for you, so you don't have to worry about it. It also needs to be proactive. So things need to be done for you. You should approve. You should always be in control. It's your business. But filing taxes, making payments to the IRS or to the state, government, issuing an invoice, collecting an invoice, tracking your expenses, classifying them on your bank, that should be done for you proactively. You should show up in the morning, say, hey, Lattice, anything for me to do? And it should come back and say, all done. Or, hey, there is one pending invoice. It's 30 days late. Do you want me to send a notification? You should say yes. And that's it. Move on with your day. Proactively managing your business is a big deal in automation. We have this saying, don't stay up late, just automate. And the idea in that is a lot of people finish their day doing everything they have to do, and now they stay up late because they have to work for the system. They have to go feed the invoices and the accountants and the books. And who's closing the books anymore? Why are you doing all of that stuff? Automate it out of your life. Go do what you're great at. And then last but not least on this, it has to be contextual. It has to really understand what's going on in your business. Because for some businesses, an invoice pending for 30 days is really, really long. It doesn't make sense. For some businesses, it's actually the norm, depending on where you are. For some businesses, fluctuation in cash flow make a ton of sense. I keep talking to realtors who have great months and then very slow months, and that's very different than if you are a data scientist working on 5 different projects at once, and the income keeps coming in, and there's no seasonality in data, right? Databases don't get tired in the winter, and they don't switch schools in spring. So really having full context on your business is a big part of doing this right. And again, if you go talk to your accountant and ask them a question, they don't know your business day to day. They can't keep track of what makes sense to you. They have hundreds of other clients. They'll pick up the phone when you call, but if you now need to give them a rundown on everything that happened in the last 3, 4, 5 months since you talked to them, wow, that's going to be a long conversation. Hopefully it's not on a phone call that costs you by the minute. A system needs to do this for you. That's what software is designed to do. So bringing this to market, you can imagine, takes a village. Making all of this work cannot be done just by a single company. We strongly believe that to make the future of work happen now, there are communities and groups of people who are already working on this, and a lot of relevant partners who are all trying to make this right. And we want to partner with everybody. We really believe that bringing a future better life for solos is a mission worth pursuing for way more than one company. So we partner with anybody who touches this ecosystem in any way, shape, or form, whether they are a platform where you find work, or a platform where you find support, or a place like a marketplace where clients and providers meet together. All of these examples are relevant, and those are just a small sample that we could put on a slide to make sure that wherever you are, wherever your business is, we can be there to drive it forward with you. Now, this needs to also matter day to day, right? And this famous concept of virtual cycle works this way. We want to definitely have as many solos as possible using the platform. We think it's going to help every single one of them. But it doesn't end with just them using the platform. Once we have a lot of people using our platform, we go to all of these partners and all of these networks to get better incentives for everybody to participate. The larger the network, the more leverage we all have to get better rates on everything, from as simple as credit card offers to making sure that you can get a loan if you need that when you have fluctuations in your income, or better group rate for your healthcare, or better 401k pricing, or unlocking a bunch of access to a bunch of other benefits. Therefore, you get better outcome as a solo business because you have better benefits, better access, much more clarity of mind to not worry about those things and search for yourselves. So your performance for your clients is better. You deliver better outcome, and therefore everything works, for everybody better. And then more solos come in, more of their clients know that they deliver better results, and this, virtuous cycle keeps going. Our idea of the future is that all of this comes together because technology makes it possible for you to do what you do really well and not worry about everything else that doesn't need to be part of what you do. That was my take on it. First, I want to thank everybody who listened in. A bunch of questions came coming. So, Gabrielle, guide me along. How do we want to take some Q&A?
I want to invite folks to put questions either in the chat or the Q&A, and I'll kick it off with a question from Meredith, who wants to know, what's the difference between what Lettuce offers and what QuickBooks offers?
Oh, I love those questions. So here is how I look at this. There are definitely solutions out there. QuickBooks, TurboTax, FreshBooks, many others that you could use as a DIY and connect them on your own and make a bunch of decisions. And when you go into a QuickBooks, it would ask you to set it up in a certain way, and you're going to have to make a bunch of decisions, and you're going to have to answer a bunch of questions, and you're on the hook to run your books. We take this at a different angle, and we say, Lettuce is an opinionated system that actually tells you what's right for you, as opposed to asking you to configure and choose which kind of chart of accounts do you want to put in QuickBooks today, and do you want to go based on accrual or cash accounting? Do you want to manage your inventory this way or the other way? And how about depreciation? Like, why would you answer all of these questions? The Lettuce approach is, as an opinionated system, we remove all of that hassle from you to worry about. You don't need QuickBooks. You don't need TurboTax. You don't need to send invoices on your own. You don't need to track payments. You don't need to classify transactions. It's all taken care of for you. And when I say opinionated, what I mean by that is Lettuce as a system has enough context to make choices on your behalf and then tell you, hey, here is what the system recommends. These things should be classified as expenses. This is how you should put money aside for your 401k retirement. This is a quarterly tax estimate for you. If everything's good, click a checkbox. We got you covered. You want to change something? Go tweak a couple of boxes and you're done. It's not up to you to worry about all of these settings and configuration. We do this for you, which is very different than all of those programs available out there.
Thank you, Ron. I have a follow-up about who we support. Are Lettuce services geographically focused or restricted? Could Lettuce support a solopreneur who's a U.S. citizen who lives in Australia and works with U.S. and Australia-based clients?
So we want to conquer the entire world. We believe that this is the future for everyone. As of right now, our focus is on the US. There is so much to do here. The tax system is so complicated. The opportunity is so large. There are so many folks who need help. Our primary focus is on the US from a geography perspective. As long as you make income in the US and you serve your clients from the US and you get paid in the US, we'll take care of you. Your clients can be abroad. They can pay you from overseas into your US account. We know how to take care of that. But we do want you to be a US person so that all of the benefits of what we've already learned how to do so well within the US tax system can work for you. Once you're ready to go overseas, we will definitely publish this for everyone.
Ron, how does Lettuce deal with a client accounts payable that's consistently slow pay, net 90 days or more?
Yeah, so two things. One, we can definitely help you with automated reminders and making sure that this shows up on a schedule and like gently but forcefully collecting what you're owed. But beyond that, the accounting of that should not be your problem. Our system would know that there is invoice, that it has not been paid yet, and that is on your books. And when it does get paid, it would match the bank transaction with the invoice, mark it off as paid, and would take it off your late account payable list. And the nice thing about it is you would stop worrying about account payable. Like if you think about it, for most of us normal humans, this is not something we should even know. Like, why would I worry about it beyond the fact that I have a client, they should pay me, there should be a reminder sent to them. Maybe from time to time, I want to pick up the phone and say, hey, everything okay? Are we still good? But the accounting side of that, let it be. Let our system just take care for you.
We have a great question from Heather. And she says, if I'm starting out, do I need an LLC? What's the difference between that and an S-Corp? And I am, as part of the answer, going to pitch my own session tomorrow at 11 Pacific time, where I'm going to dig into the details of this with my accounting partner, Marcus. But Ron, can you give us an overview? How do you know what the difference is, what the right choice is for you right now?
Absolutely. So I'm going to give the 1 minute answer. There's definitely more here. And everybody, please plug in to Gabrielle and Marcus' session tomorrow. There are two different aspects to how you should think about your business. One is the legal structure. And we recommend that as soon as you have a meaningful business, it's not a one-off gig. You didn't do it just to pass some time. You're doing this professionally. You should have a legal structure, typically an LLC, that protects you from lawsuits, make sure that you're working within the right legal structure. That is separate from your tax structure. This is where an S-Corp comes in. S-Corp is a specific tax choice that happens at the level above your incorporation, above your LLC. So once you have an LLC and you have meaningful income coming in, 60, 70, 80, 100K a year, you can start taking the advantage of the S-Corp model, where the IRS came up with a solution that says, you want to run like a corporation. You want to get the tax benefits that are designed for corporations, but you have a solo business. You're just one. That's where the S-Corp comes in. It allows you to take your single owner business, make it an S-Corporation, get all the benefits of tax treatment of that S-Corporation with ability to take a payroll as an employee, owner distribution as the owner, pay different level of taxes on each of them, and save in a much more sophisticated manner now that you are playing in the corporation world. Now, these words sound very complex, and if you had to do it on your own, hey, good luck reading all of the IRS publications about it. But, surprise, surprise, Lettuce is here for you. So when you sign up for Lettuce, we set up your LLC if you don't have one. We set up your S-Corp for you. We make sure that you're fully compliant. We'll renew all of the compliance paperwork. We'll set the whole thing up. So you just have to show up and do great work and enjoy all of these benefits.
Thank you, Ron. I have another question that's a bit more about AI. And someone's wondering, is AI really ready to handle this kind of work, especially for solo business owners? Is it going to be right? Is it going to do the right thing? Is now the right time?
Yeah, that's a deep question, and I'll think about it in a couple of ways. AI is a big word. Is AI ready? Who knows? Maybe at some point we're so ready it's going to replace all of us, but that's in the future. There are things that AI is definitely ready and able to do very well. There are things where AI is still early, and there are things that don't need AI at all and just need good, old, reliable automation. And if you remember, we started this conversation by saying AI and automation at your service. I'll give an easy example. Filling an IRS form, not hard. Choosing how to classify your transactions, pretty complicated. So what we do is we take components of AI that are good at some things, components of machine learning that are good at some things, components of automation that are good at some things, and put each of them to work on your behalf on what's needed. If the task at hand is straightforward and can be just automated, we'll do that. If the task at hand requires a richer reasoning, automated agent that fills a bunch of steps and comebacks for guidance, etc., we'll deploy AI at it. And remember, the reason we are here as a solution provider is that we will tune and improve that AI for you all the time. We're not asking you to go buy an AI bot and configure it yourself. We're not saying go on ChatGPT and try to figure out your taxes. We are using AI for you to make sure that it works well, which I think is the best way at this time for people to enjoy the benefits of AI without spending their entire day becoming an AI expert, which many of us are not yet.
If I already have a system set up and I'm kind of handling my taxes in a way that seems fine, why would I change to something like this? You know, a lot of times people will say, if it's broke, don't fix it. I run a solo business. I don't have a lot of time to go chasing after problems that I've created in my own business. What would be the motivation to move to something like Lettuce?
Yeah. I can think of two main groups of motivations. One of them would be accelerating, growing your business. You want to do more, and you want to free up your attention, your time to grow your business, get more clients, get better at what you do. And the current system you have is kind of holding you back because you have to go to that Google Sheet and track your expenses, and you have to sit down with your accountant, and you have to, get your invoices done, and like those things are in the way of you accelerating your business. The other group is it does go wrong, and many people don't like to think about it and they say, yeah, I'll fix it next April when I have to pay my taxes, but things go wrong rather often if you don't do them well. You're underpaying and getting fines and penalties. You're overpaying and wasting your money. You get your books convoluted and you have to spend a bunch of hours with your CPA who gets upset with you, and you have to pay a bunch of money. You forget to make some payments to your vendors. You forget to collect from your... There's a lot of problems. And, as somebody who's been at this for a while, if somebody tells you that they have a system and it just works, ask them a couple of questions. Ask them to open that drawer of anxiety that they put aside, and you're going to hear some stories. So my gut tells me there are problems and you want to fix them. And you can probably accelerate your business by not spending time on that, by being better at your craft. Both of those are reason to make a one-time effort. Ditch the worksheet. Like that's not how you run a business in 2025 and beyond. Get a piece of software that does this for you every dollar, every day, automatically, in a modern way. And then anytime there's something new, you just get it. You don't have to go figure out what's the latest on retirement planning. What's the latest on taxes from the IRS for people who make above a certain threshold? What's the latest on deduction? Why would you chase all of that? Let us worry about that. You go grow your business.
Ron, you presented a really exciting vision early on in your talk that looked at benefits and health insurance and investments and other things beyond taxes. And today we offer 401k planning, and we're starting to build these other pieces. When does that future become real for our customers?
So that future is coming very soon. I would believe that within 2025, you'll have access to most of what I mentioned. And 2025 is now, right? And I think waiting is always a strategy. You could say, let me see how it looks before I sign up. But my experience shows that this year is going to fly by. And if you don't start now and get yourself in order and get your clients, paying the right way, get your invoices issued the right way, then by the time we roll out the new capability, whether it's healthcare or financial advisory, then you're going to rush. And that might be your busiest time of year. So why would you wait for that extra feature N+1 to be ready, as opposed to get your business on the right rails? And as soon as we give the extra features, you just turn them on and it's working for you. 2025 is here. It's happening, friends.
Thank you so much, Ron. We are almost at time, and I would love to thank you so much for your talk today and all of our speakers. We're so grateful to have had you here listening and learning with us. I hope everyone here is energized, curious, and ready to take action to build your business in 2025. And we are going to make it easy for you at Lettuce. Please plan to join us for even more from the Solo Summit tomorrow. We have an amazing agenda planned, kicking off with Bonnie Wan, the author of the award-winning book, The Life Brief. Second, I want to invite you to sign up for Lettuce's Solo Challenge at lettuce.co/challenge, where we'll take insights from the summit and turn them into bite-sized actions every day for 30 days. So you can turn everything you've learned in the summit into real business benefits for your business. And finally, Lettuce has an offer for you. If you are interested in doing the things Ron has talked about, automating your taxes and finances, saving money in your business, and focusing your time in ways that can have better impact in your business, you can get a free month and a free 2024 tax return if you sign up using the code SOLOVIP. During tomorrow's sessions, like I mentioned, you can learn more about S-Corps, take a tour of the Lettuce platform, but we're always available to answer questions at support@lettuce.co and to chat with you in the networking sessions. There's lots of Lettuce folks around. Thank you so much for joining us today, and have a great night.